Good morning, everyone, and thank you all for joining our Alabama Goes to College webinar. This is a refresher. My name is Sandra Jackson. I'm with Alabama Possible, and we have May Whiting and Keela Lawrence also with Alabama Possible. Today, we'll review the campaign and goals and timeline. We'll also look at outreach resources provided in the Educators Toolkit. We'll have an opportunity to hear from educators who will share some of the strategies that they're using. As always, we'd like to recognize and thank our sponsors for supporting this work and making this training opportunity possible. We also like to thank our partners. They play an integral part in this Alabama Goes to College campaign, so we really appreciate them. Just a few housekeeping tips. Please keep your microphones on mute at all times to avoid feedback while the speakers are speaking. This webinar will be recorded and posted to the youtube.com/Alabama Possible channel. Throughout the webinar, if you have questions, you can submit those through the chat feature and we'll address them at the end of the session during the Q&A. Please share your commitment to building a college-going culture on social media at AL Goes to College, and please use the following hashtags so that we can share and learn from each other's work. The high schools can still sign up for the 2021-22 Alabama Goes to College campaign. You can sign up using the alabamapossible.org/register 2021-22. If you're an educator joining this webinar, your high school has likely already registered, but please feel free to share this information, the link with other educators whose school may not have registered already. We only need one representative from each school to complete the form, and we'll discuss some of the benefits of registering later in the webinar. So today's learning objectives for this campaign is to deepen familiarity, excuse me, with the Alabama Goes to College campaign and its components, to gain confidence with navigating and using the Educators Toolkit, and identify one new strategy and asset that you will use to increase awareness for your college and career initiatives. And now at this time, I'll turn it over to Keela.
Thanks so much, Sandra. So what we want to start off with is a poll just to get everyone's input and their direct feedback. You can head to menti.com and you're going to use that code at the top. And then the question is, what kinds of support are the most useful to your college going mission? So once I go ahead and get that poll active, you can be sure to put your answer there.
Looks like someone responded the toolkit, so we're very happy to hear that.
Perfect.
We'll be covering that today.
Materials and new ideas, internet, toolkit, and staff support. I see the toolkit, it's a big one, that's great. Administrations, teachers and parents, teacher support. That's great. I love to hear the teacher support is the most kind and the most useful support that you all have. All right, thank you guys so much for your answers.
I got a direct message as well, so I'll share that. They say we need a one-stop shop for all college deadlines in our region or state. Okay. Yes, FAFSA step-by-step, and the toolkit is wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, that's great feedback. It's something that we've attempted to do, both curating college application deadlines as well as financial aid priority deadlines. And usually we'll hear from maybe half of the colleges and universities that we reach out to. So we would love to continue pushing for something that reaches every single college and university in our state so that y'all can pass that along to interested students. Thank you for saying that.
I'm glad they were able to send that to you as well. So now going into Alabama Goes to College campaign. So the campaign is made up of 3 components: Cash for College, Alabama College Application Week, and College and Career Decision Day. So throughout this webinar, we're going to go through each of these campaign components and make sure that you have another understanding, and we're just refreshing you for this next semester. So our guide here, we like to give out the Alabama Goes to College Toolkit, and the timeline is in the toolkit. This is to guide you throughout the year. You see we have the planning section, we have different deadlines, FAFSA kickoffs, and things like that. So you can see the entire timeline here. It was created for you to be able to print, whether that's to put on your desk or to put on your personal bulletin board, so that you can make sure that as you go throughout the year, you don't miss any deadlines, you don't miss any dates for your students, to help them and to support you and them on their journey to college. So now I'm going to turn it over to May to take over for Cash for College.
Awesome. Thank you, Keela. So I'm going to dive into Cash for College a little bit today. The goal, of course, is for every graduating senior to complete the FAFSA before they graduate from high school, so that they can access federal, state, and institutional aid to pay for their education after high school. We have some key resources listed here. The Cash for College data dashboard is where you can access school-wide FAFSA completion data. It is updated every week with the most recent data from the U.S. Department of Education. We also have the Alabama Commission on Higher Education's student lookup portal, where you can access student level FAFSA completion data. So districts that have signed what's called a use agreement are able to access this student level data. And y'all might have noticed that this portal does look a little bit different these days. It has evolved to hopefully provide a more user-friendly experience for you. It is now being updated much more regularly, which means you'll have really current data to inform how you're contacting your students about the FAFSA, as it is a graduation task. And then lastly, I've listed FAFSA.gov as a key resource. Its web pages really provide very detailed information on every situation, from super simple FAFSAs to extremely complex FAFSAs. So it's a key resource. We will go on to some key dates. As y'all know, the FAFSA opens every October 1st. It's really important for students to remember that they must complete this form every year for which they're in college. So every October 1, they should be logging in and submitting a new application. December 1st was our deadline for Alabama schools to compete for our Best Hustle Award. That is an award for improving early FAFSA completion, and we'll have more on that in the coming slides. And then May 1st, so this upcoming May 1st, will be our deadline for Alabama schools to compete for the Most Improved and MVP awards, which come with grant prizes. The Most Improved award is given to the small, medium, and large schools with the highest year-to-year improvement rate for FAFSA completion. And then our MVP award is given to the small, medium, and large schools with the highest overall FAFSA completion percentages. All right, so we just mentioned our Best Hustle Award, and I hope you all had a chance to see our announcement that we had a record-breaking 213 high schools win this award. This award is given to schools that successfully improve early FAFSA completion by at least 10% from 2020 to 2021. So we define early FAFSA completion as completion during the first 2 months of the FAFSA cycle, so October and November. And we're really thrilled with this outcome. It's indicative of all the energy that educators have been putting into FAFSA completion so far, and we want to congratulate y'all on that. So as you can see here, your dedication is definitely shining through, because by the end of the calendar year, so the end of 2021, Alabama ranked second in the nation in year-over-year change for FAFSA completion. That's an incredible accomplishment, so we definitely applaud your efforts. Here on the left side of the screen, you can see that Alabama's year-over-year change was much higher than the national year-over-year change. And that's by the end of last December. And then on the right side of the screen, you can see our state's completion rate is almost exactly the same as the national completion rate. So we are staying on par with the rest of the nation. And we hope y'all are encouraged by this progress and that you continue to build on this momentum. Of course, if there's any way we can assist you in FAFSA completion, don't hesitate to reach out. All right, so I mentioned our most improved and MVP awards. What you see on the screen right now are last year's award winners. It's important to note that only schools that are registered for the Alabama Goes to College campaign by the October 1 deadline are eligible to receive these awards, which involve cash prizes. So Sandra was mentioning the benefits of registering for the campaign, and that is certainly one of them. You might have noticed in our first newsletter of 2022, we included our FAFSA leaderboard, and that showcases schools that are currently in the running for our MVP award. We're going to continue to give y'all regular updates on the leaderboard all the way up until that May 1st deadline for these awards. Okay, 2 resources really quick I want to plug. We have our FAFSA walkthrough. This is a step-by-step walkthrough video. We created it specifically for Alabama students. You'll also find in the description box little timestamps for you to click which part of the FAFSA you would like to review. So you can either reference individual sections of the FAFSA or you can look at the walkthrough in its entirety. And this video is best used by current high school seniors who are considered a dependent student for the purposes of the FAFSA. We have also linked here for you a My Student Aid app walkthrough. Gotten a lot of feedback that your students are not completing it through the web browser. Instead, they're using the mobile app. So this is a walkthrough created by the National Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators. So if you have students who need assistance with using the app, this tutorial will guide you through that process. So I'm going to turn it back over to Keela now.
Thanks so much, May. So we have another poll. We want to keep you all engaged and make sure that we are supporting you as best as we can. So here's a question that you all can answer in the chat. What FAFSA activities have gone well this school year? We know some of you all are have had hybrid classes or hybrid schools. Some of you have been fully virtual. Some of you have been in person. And we just want to hear what activities have been successful for you. And with these responses that you give, we can see how we can best support you and what other assets might need to be added to the toolkit or how we can better help. So I'll look out for some answers, but this is a chance for you to showcase your great events, your great support that you have. I know you all mentioned you need the best support from your administrators and other teachers. We have completing the FAFSA as much as possible with students in the classroom. So student workshops, I guess that's what it sounds like, or at least when partnering with the teachers to make sure that you can teach about the FAFSA. We do have a curriculum, and so that if you want to partner with an economics teacher or a government teacher, that's something that you can successfully kind of cater into their lesson plans. I'm not seeing any more. So, oh, I see one. FAFSA night and availability of their career coaches to assist parents and students. I think that accessibility is also something that's great for students. So let me see if I'm not seeing any more. So, oh, I see one more. Partnering with local community colleges and career coaches to do classroom workshops. Oh, great. I see someone else also elevating that the career coaches has been invaluable. So one thing I'm seeing a lot of is having the support of the administrators, the career coaches, the teachers and counselors. So if there's any way you think of or any ideas that you think of that we can help assist in making these partnerships with your communities and in your own schools, be sure to let us know. So now I'm going to talk about Alabama College Application Week. So the goal is to ensure that high school seniors apply to at least one post-secondary institution. So some key resources, the Alabama College Application Campaign, coordinator manual that can be found in the Alabama Goes to College Toolkit, as well as the American College Application Campaign. So also some key dates for Alabama College Application Week. So we had Why Apply Day in September. We had the October 18th through 22nd Alabama College Application Week. And there is going to be another College Application Week in February. As soon as we find out that date, we will be sure to let you all know through an email blast or through our newsletter. The dates have not been confirmed yet. So as soon as they are, we'll be sure to let you know. Now, although Alabama College Application Week isn't until February, your students do have a unique opportunity to apply to over 60 HBCUs through the Common Black College application. So I do have a poll. Let me go ahead and make it live. It's going to ask you, have you used the Common Black College application code when your students are applying to HBCUs? Oh, I already have a yes. I have some no's. I have some yeses. But what we will encourage is for you to use this unique opportunity, this partnership with the Common Black College application and with the Regions Foundation, so that your students can easily apply to over 60 institutions and just with one application. To find more information about the code and just a general FAQ, you can go to the Alabama Goes to College Toolkit, and it's in the general folder. Thank you all for your answers and your responses. We appreciate that. Next, we have College and Career Decision Day. So the goal is to celebrate students committing to pursue education and training after high school. So one great thing or one great acronym I've seen for College and Career Decision Day is the 3 E's. So that's celebrating employment, celebrating enrolling in a post-secondary institution, and also celebrating enlisting in the military. So you just want to celebrate a student's decision no matter what it is. Some key resources are Reach Higher and Better Make Room. And then a key date is May 1st. So that's when the celebration events begin. You don't necessarily have to have your College and Career Decision Day on May 1st, but you can have it around it to celebrate your students' choices. Now I am going to turn it back over to May so she can give us a toolkit demo.
Awesome. Thanks, Keela. I'm going to share my screen with y'all so you can follow along as I navigate through our webpage as well as the toolkit, which is housed on our Google Drive. So I'll go ahead and share my screen with you. Okay, so we start by going to alabamagoes2college.org, and it redirects us to this landing page. So this is the main landing page for the campaign. And there will be 2 subpages, both the students and families subpage and the educators subpage. So you will want to access the educators subpage by clicking this button. Once you click that button, it will direct you to this full educators subpage where you see a graphic. The graphic contains many live links to our most important resources. So we have the Educators Handbook, and I'll go ahead and show y'all that in our Google Drive. So the Educators Handbook is in our General Assets folder. It also will go directly to it if you were to click that live link from the web page. So this is a pretty comprehensive resource. It's going to tell you about each of the 3 campaign components that we just reviewed earlier. And it's also going to give you other important details like the timeline that Keela highlighted, as well as why this work is so important with some of the key stats that support all of this work that you're doing. And then just some other information like the Governor's Success Plus goal, as well as our toolkit that we're reviewing right now. And then some important links for you. We also highlight useful hashtags, as well as state and national resources that we highly recommend. So this handbook is meant to be kind of an all-encompassing guide for you. We also have a student and families guidebook that is meant to be the same kind of resource for them. Of course, it just references their specific perspective, but it's going to talk about a lot of important college-going activities that they can expect to participate during their senior year. So both of those resources are available in our general assets folder. So you'll notice on the webpage that has all of the live links, there are links for each of the campaign components. So you can either access those via this graphic, or you can just do the same thing within the Google Drive. So we have one for Cash for College, College Application Week, and College and Career Decision Day. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with Google Drive, but just in case you don't use it very often, there's both a grid view and a list view. So right now we're in the list view, but we can change it to the grid view. And that difference will be a little bit more noticeable if we're within one of the folders. So here you can see a preview of some of the documents when you're in grid view. And I'll make one quick note. When you are in grid view, if you're looking at a Word document, sometimes the Word document might look a little funny until you open it, but rest assured that once you actually download the file, all of the formatting should be corrected. But this is totally based on your preference, whether you utilize grid view or list view. So many of the documents within our toolkit are meant to be customizable. So we want you to make it as relevant as possible to your specific community that you're working with. But because everyone is accessing this shared folder, we want to make sure that we're not directly editing the actual document, but instead we're first downloading the document and then editing the download that's on our specific computer. So I can show y'all an example of that. We have an email template here under our Cash for College Planning folder. And when I right click that, I can also select download. At that point, the Word file is downloaded to my personal computer, and I can go in and make any edits that I would like. You can also do it one other way. You can actually open up the template so that you see it in Google Docs. Once you have the template opened, you can go to File, Download, and select which type of download you would like to do, whether that's a Word document or a PDF document. So just wanted to give those two notes, but we will return back to our main landing page, and we'll go back into our Cash for College folder. We covered this pretty extensively during our campaign kickoff, which you can reference through our YouTube page. And we also covered a lot of these resources during both of our Cash for College webinars, both the FAFSA 101 as well as the Advanced FAFSA webinar. But I'm just going to give you another review of this. We have our general folder, and this is where you'll find some of the different initiatives that have been done by other schools all around the country. A few of y'all have asked about browser requirements for the FAFSA whenever you run into any trouble. So this gives you details on what browser FAFSA.gov recommends. When we go to our planning folder, we'll see all kinds of resources like our email templates, this lesson plan that Keela referenced when she was referring to doing the FAFSA within a government or economics class. And then we have references for creating FSA IDs as well as hosting actual events. In our digital assets folder, you can find all kinds of graphics to promote your school's efforts. So you can use these on social media or in newsletters, however you would like. We also have a bunch of printable assets. So if you're wanting to hang things up around your school or in your office. These are things that are easily printable and posted within your school. And then lastly, we have a press folder. You can find a sample press release here for any of your really large FAFSA completion events that you're hosting. Make sure that it gets out into the news and reaches as many people as possible. So that's our Cash for College subfolder. I really quickly want to go into our College and Career Decision Day folder, since that is upcoming this second semester. A few things I'll point out. In general, we have just our one-page overview of what College and Career Decision Day is. Like Keela showed you when she was reviewing the component, there's a great partnership with Better Make Room and Reach Higher, and both of those web pages have a ton of resources that you can access. If we go into our planning folder, this social media guide is incredible. We give sample texts that you can use leading up to this day. And we put May 1st in the slides, but this day can really be celebrated anytime throughout the month of May, or it could be celebrated for an entire week. If, say, you work with a big senior class and you're celebrating so many different kinds of college and career decisions. So you have a lot of sample posts here, as well as these common hashtags that we use. And then if you really want to get in the spirit and make sure that everyone is aware of this day coming up, you could utilize any of our Twitter covers or our Facebook profile pictures so that students and families are constantly seeing this and are aware of this day being on the horizon. So that is just a quick overview of all of our tools. If you ever have any specific questions about how to access something, or if you have a request for something you want made and added to the toolkit, we very much welcome those requests. So please do not hesitate to reach out. All right, just again, I want to put this up on the screen to show our two main resources, the Educators Handbook and then that Student and Families Guidebook. All right, so now we're going to come to the fun part. We're going to bring in our wonderful educators to have a panel discussion. So I would like to invite our 4 educators to share some of the strategies that they employ as it relates to building a college-going culture. We're joined by counselors and career coaches who are representing schools that lead the state in FAFSA completion. So we're really excited to learn from them today. We have representatives from Saraland City Schools, Madison County Schools, and Marshall County Schools. So we're going to start off with Kim. And Kim, please introduce yourself and then share some of the strategies that you're using to build a college-going culture in your school.
Hi, my name's Kim Zworzinski. Most teachers, students, parents call me Ms. Z, of course, and I'm at Saraland High School as a senior guidance counselor. As far as the FAFSA goes, I think there's several things this year that have made us successful. One of the things which has been kind of semi-stressful has been promoting FAFSA as a graduation requirement. I've been going into classrooms, to senior classrooms. I went first in August, and then I went multiple times in October, talking about FAFSA being a graduation requirement. So I think that has been a positive as far as parents and students realizing that that is something they need to do and do it sooner rather than later. We did, as a district, send out a mailing, old school, to all parents of seniors indicating that it was a graduation requirement, as well as all of the different activities we put in the letter of what we were going to be doing to support them in getting it done, including the financial aid night, including going into classrooms, including, individual appointments as needed, information on community colleges around us that were offering financial nights as well. So we tried to give the parents all the resources that were going to be available to help them get through this. And so then we did go into classrooms. in October. We went twice. The first time was for FAFSA. The second time was off, for College Application Week. And I can't do this without teacher support. We did hit up the senior English and senior government econ classes. And actually with FAFSA, this is the first year we've always gone in and did the FSAID with students, but then many students thought, we're done. We did the FAFSA, later on, even though you told them there's another step. So this year we had students do all the way through the FAFSA as far as they could get. And so I think that made them aware, okay, the only thing left is what my parent needs to do. And so they were able to go home and say, Mom, Dad, it's on you now. And so I think that's been really successful in getting the FAFSA actually done this year. We do offer incentives. My administration is so supportive. And also all my college reps have been very supportive. So we offer extra credit in core classes. The teachers have done that for me. Swag from military and in college. And then we take pictures when they get the swag and put it on our social media. We also do a college and career exploration day. My principal allowed this year. So everybody that had completed at least one college app and also their FAFSA by December 1st got a college and career exploration day off campus to do what they needed to do, whether that was go to a college to visit, explore career options, job shadow, whatever they wanted to do that day. And so that was a huge incentive. Kids always like to have a day off to be able to do what they need to do. We also had we have a broadcasting class, and they had put on a video that we showed at our fall senior night at our football game that talked about FAFSA being required. I showed some former students that, emphasized what FAFSA did for them, and cheerleaders, doing a cheer. So we've had, I guess, support from everybody this year in trying to get this done. So I've just been very excited about it. And I think students have done well. This semester, I'm continuing, kids that have not shown the proof for FAFSA yet, we are again offering incentives, extra credit this semester. We'll do some drawing for gift cards, the swag still. So I'll be going back into student classrooms to do a final transcript review, and we'll re-emphasize FAFSA completion, college app completion, and those kinds of things. I think that's it.
Thank you, Kim. Yes, what I really noticed from what you shared is it sounds like you had a lot of buy-in from every single person in the community, the teachers, the administration, and you really hit on a theme that we heard yesterday during our community conversation, which if students are participating in FAFSA related activities, they're best when it's in person and it's within their existing classroom environment. So they're already in a core class, and then they're hearing this message, whether it's from their teacher or their counselor, and then they have an opportunity in class to get as far as possible. So
Exactly.
Glad to hear that that's definitely working for you. We're next going to hear from Deidre. And if you, again, would share the strategies that are working for your school.
Thank you. I'd like to underscore what Kim said about incentives. I need to preface my response with the fact that the hard reality is students don't care about the stats. Stats indicating that 92% of students who complete the FAFSA go to college. They don't care. They need tangible results. And we know that the area of the brain associated with higher level thinking is underused by teenagers. So I went into homerooms as I was attempting to shove the FAFSA requirements and stats down their throats. I was met with uninterested politeness because the way they saw it was that I wanted something from them. My clients, the teenage brains, were not excited about stats or even graduation requirements because that was not fulfilling their immediate needs. So I needed to change the narrative. What does my client think they need? They need to see their names in neon lights. They need to shine as a bright star among their peers. As such, the strategy used was to pair actions, desired actions, with a positive reinforcement palatable to the client. Our desired action, students earning a silver or higher on the work key certificate and FAFSA completion, because FAFSA completion, that is the step toward building a college-going culture. So what do they get? A pizza party? No, because they do not individually shine if they receive a pizza party. So I have all of my seniors on a spreadsheet along with their CCR status, their college and career readiness status. So as in Ames, the columns, work keys, military, industry credential, ACT, AP. And now add another column, FAFSA completion. What got their attention was graduation cords for every CCR met. The students were told if they passed work keys, they could purchase a cord to wear at graduation. They're now excited about the retake if they miss one subtest, and they're begging for study materials. And some parents would put more emphasis into it if the student is interested. So now the students are interested and they want to know what their status is. When is the retake? Where are the study materials? The caveat is they will not be allowed to purchase the cord if they have not completed the FAFSA. They don't care about the stats, but they do care about having their chance to shine. So that strategy is where we are, and we expect to see more results because starting next week, they know whether or not they have earned a cord because they've received their work keys results. But next week they get to prepare to pay for the cord. And that's when we will tell them, oh, but you didn't complete the FAFSA. And so that is what has brought us over the top.
Thank you, Deidre. That is such useful feedback for us to hear as an organization. I see a lot of educators responding positively to that idea. The students aren't responding to a bunch of stats we throw at them. So I'm really glad that you highlighted that and that you found something that really works for your students and that they feel celebrated when they're able to shine wearing these cords. So that's great. Thank you. So I next want to invite both Rhonda and Angie, who are representing the same school district. If y'all would please introduce yourselves and again, share your strategies.
I'm Rhonda Gibbs. I am here at Dar High School. And I will have to say some of the things that Deidre had to say and Kim had to say, I'm about to steal and everything. I know our percentage was up to a little over 41%, but I really would like to see it get higher with our students here at our school. Angie Oettinger is our career coach. She has been phenomenal and fabulous. I don't know about other counselors across the state, but I do know since the pandemic, we are struggling with mental health issues, which takes time away from when we're doing actually college and career readiness for our students. And so having those extra people on board to help has been very, very valuable. Even my registrar, she has been fabulous in calling in seniors and saying, hey, you haven't finished these type of things and all. I also, I love that through the toolkit that you have the timeline, because I set up a lot of different emails that go out to my students. And if you go ahead, the moment you get your timelines and your dates and you do a schedule send that goes out monthly, those little reminders are good tidbits. And, just CCing your faculty and staff on those as well, because they're always, hey, have y'all seen your email today? That's come from the counseling office. So those have been some really good things. I will say that the slogan, it takes a village. Yes, this day and time with the things that our students need to be prepared for, it does take a village.
I'm Angie Oettinger. As Ms. Gibbs said, I'm the career coach. And one very important thing I want to add, I want to elaborate on a few of the things that she said that we use, is that she CCs me. She's awesome. She will CC me on everything. And so even if it's something that I might not need, at least I'm in the communication loop, because as a career coach, I do not fall under any of the faculty. I don't know what's going on at the schools. I don't get some information that I probably need to get. I'm working on possibly trying to get in the loop, but I don't know, it may be more, maybe too much, but trying to get in the loop of being on the staff at all the high schools, because that really would help. I mean, you kind of need to know, not only just communicating with your counselors on, when are they going to have half their student body or 3/4 of their student body absent for testing, or, quarantine. Occasionally I might get the notification later than everybody else, and show up and there's no kids there. But yeah, we work closely together. And I think the number one thing is communication. She mentioned she uses the emails. When she CCs me and I see something on those emails, I have a Google Classroom set up, which also sends them email reminders of what I'm posting. So if she sends me something that I feel like needs to be reiterated or filed away, I use Google Classroom under classwork and under material. I have several topics set up. I have scholarship heading, I have a FAFSA heading, I have a resume heading, things to do after high school, what to look at, careers, industry, all different kinds of things. I also have a Google website, which I share with the students, but it helps, I think, that we continually reinforce each other in the communication with the students and the parents. And on the another communication tool that I like to use is I have some presentations that I have shared with detailed screenshots on how to set up the FSA ID and how to complete the FAFSA. I actually borrowed the original one. I can't even remember for sure where it came from, but I borrowed the original one to help do the step-by-step FAFSA completion with the screenshots. And then at the last 2 years, I've updated it, and I've even added, we've had issues because 2 of my schools in Marshall County have high Hispanic population, and I've added some details about signatures and what's accepted and what's not. Just little things to help them, remind them. And even if they never look, at least the ones that do look, they see that. But just like being a classroom teacher, I feel like you have to walk around. I make several classroom visits. We do some coordinated with each other. The school counselor and I go in the classroom and talk to the seniors overall about, at the beginning of the year, getting ready for everything that's going to be coming up as far as a senior checklist on what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to set up, parchment to get your high school transcript. You're going to set up your FSA ID and complete your FAFSA. You're going to have college application week. We coordinate together and give them several tips about the things that are going on. And we've had FAFSA nights, workshops, which the local community college and local their career coach Sneed has helped us with those. We've had 3 planned since the beginning of the year. This last one that's coming up, we had one. Let me back up. We had one at DAR because DAR's Daughters of American Revolution, as some of you may or may not know, they had a special scholarship night, and we actually added a FAFSA night into that. So I think it's important to know you can add those FAFSA assistants into maybe some of your other events that are going on. And this next one that I've got coming up, we're going to have a Marshall County wide, because there's 5 school systems here in Marshall County. It's going to be open to all high school students. At the tech school, we're going to have a career college night, and it's going to have it's going to have FAFSA assistants. So there's 3 of us career coaches that'll be available to help them with FAFSA, and then other college representatives will be there from the financial aid offices to help them with the FAFSA. So we're looking forward to that, or I'm looking forward to that. And I hope that, with a lot of other people's help in my village, that we get a lot of support and make it very successful, because this will be my first time as kind of leading that college career night. So, and I hope it's going to be big, because we've had some big ones and really good ones in the past. So we have used some incentives as far as a pizza party. This is my 3rd year with the pizza party. Was won by DAR 3 years ago, and they didn't get to have their pizza party because we had COVID and got out, So, but also the senior teachers are great about reminding the students that not only am I on campus, so I'm communicating with them also, not only am I on campus and willing to help them, but they let them out of class to come see me. I also sit in the back of their classroom sometimes, and I'll call them up as needed, if it's just little things, and I'll kind of wait for breaks and, in the lesson that's going on, whether it be senior English or economics. And, I'll ask, can I see so-and-so? And sometimes the teacher will just look back at me and say, do you need another student to come back to see you? And, and then they'll send them back. So it's, students are good at multitasking somewhat better than they are at just sitting there during the whole lesson. So I feel like, we're helping them every way that we can. The faculty's been great. Of course, this year it makes it awesome. I don't know how many, but there's several seniors that are faculty and staff of Marshall County's students. So, but that's helped us a lot. It's been a great class, but they were also, like I said, my top 2 years ago. So those are just some of the few things and I noticed that a lot of those are in your toolkit, and I hope to try out a few more of those items in the toolkit in the upcoming months.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And I've seen a lot of positive reactions to the partnership between counselors and career coaches. So I'm encouraged to hear that y'all are feeling that way about this joint effort. It takes everyone to be involved. So we wanted to ask y'all about your must-have resources. We're running a little short on time, so we'll kind of do this rapid fire. But so far, what I've heard from y'all, you have videos talking about the importance of the FAFSA. We have a spreadsheet that's tracking student progress on certain college-going activities so they can get that cord. You have regular emails or alerts, Google Classroom, websites to act as a landing page for all of this. Are there any must-have resources that you'd like to share very quickly with our attendees that they are also able to access?
So must-have resources with the topic of creating a college-going culture, the students have to know what college is. So we start with a mid-year data report. So we have College Applications Week. Students come into the lab, we're in small groups. The first thing they do is complete a mid-year data report, which basically we're asking them, what do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? And then the next step, they complete their FAFSA ID if they haven't already done so. Now we take this information from the mid-year data report, because remember, it's all about the client. So using their stated goal, we need to know what's the next step. Where do you need to go? Because a college is not necessarily a 4-year university. So based on their stated goal, then we need to direct them to the type of higher education that is appropriate for that student. Not because we want it, but because they said they want to be a this or that. Well, you need 2 years for this or that. That's what you want, not me.
And so it sounded like, are you using something like Google Forms or Microsoft Forms to do that mid-year data? And then what kind of tool or platform are you using, or is it just a verbal conversation you're having with them about what their next steps look like?
Very good. It's important to stay close to the data. And so with the mid-year data report, they're completing a Google form. And of course, it populates on a spreadsheet. And now when the students come in, it's difficult for me because I do have closer to 600 students than I have 500. However, it's a steady flow of students coming in, and they have to have their appointment, and we have to direct them based on their goal. And that's how the data is used. So it becomes their idea, always their idea. We're just here to facilitate them.
I love that idea of data collection informing all your future interactions with students. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you to all of our panelists for joining. We are going to go back to our slides.
I only had one question, and it was a request for more information on the portal. What type of an agreement is needed to look up student data?
Perfect. I will go ahead and pop a link into the chat that directs you to that use agreement that districts signed to give your educators access to student level data.
So that was the only question we got in the chat. I think this was a very good conversation, and thank you all for participating and sharing. There is a quick survey that the link is in the chat, if you wouldn't mind doing that. And it'll also be in the follow-up email that you get with additional information on how to access this, this webinar later on at your convenience. And remember, you'll get professional development hours through PowerSchool. This is the link, course number 276589, section number 424596. Save the dates. We're going to have a webinar, the long-awaited webinar with AIC. And it's going to be about using data to support your FAFSA completion campaign. Registration information will be sent. That's going to be February the 2nd. And May, is that the workshop on the portal, or is that a different workshop?
Yes, we'll definitely cover the portal in detail.
Okay, great. And also Wednesday, we're excited to host the Alabama College Attainment Network Spring Conference, 2022 Spring Conference. It will be virtual. So, and it's a one-day event. So please help spread the word, but definitely save the date, and hopefully you all will be able to attend. Lastly, we would love for you to stay connected. You can contact the help desk by using the phone number that's listed here, 334-316-6155. Also the email, and also visit our website for additional information and to request assistance for things that you all may have coming up.
This is our help desk where educators, students, families can contact us. They can text us or call us using that number you see on the screen. But I also just wanted to show you something really quickly in the toolkit that I failed to mention. So if I can share my screen really quickly, I'll show y'all that we actually have a resource where you can promote the help desk. So if you don't want to come up with something yourself, we have in our general assets folder, we have a whole help desk folder. And if you would like to post this promotion on your school or your district's social media, you're more than welcome to do that. We are always happy to assist students who are looking for college application assistance, scholarship search assistance, and FAFSA completion assistance. So lots of those little promotions here that you can add in emails or post on social media.
Well, thank you all again for participating. And like we said, feel free to reach out to us with questions, comments, suggestions. And with that, we hope you have a great rest of the day.